Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Very happy to see you here in the room or to see you online for this new conference from the CIFU, the conference on resilience through innovation with a focus on the role of the energy storage in Ukraine's recovery. I would like to mention that this conference tonight is organized in the framework of the newly established CIFU committee, the Committee on Energy and Sustainable Development, led by Mikhailo Bubnov, who will be the moderator tonight. So thank you for that, Misha. And who is also, of course, the chairman of Schneider Electric Ukraine. I think that whether you are here in the room in Kiev or you are abroad, you will agree with me that the importance of energy in wartime cannot be overstated. This is really a critical sector for Ukraine's survival, and it has been and it is still one of the primary targets of attacks. So despite all these challenges, Ukraine have shown a remarkable resilience and determination in maintaining the energy supplies in such extreme conditions. The goal is not only to rebuild what has been damaged, but to create a stronger, a smarter, and a more sustainable energy system. And that's why this resilience, especially through energy storage, is more actual today than ever before. So I will let Mikhailo manage but just before, allow me 1 more minute, Mikhailo, 1 more minute just to give you, still in the topics of resilience and innovation, to remind you the next 3 events that the French Chamber will be involved in. We have next week on Friday, 10th of October, a forum on artificial intelligence that is organized together with the French Tech Kiev and the IT Association of Ukraine. There will be a lot of high-level French and Ukrainian speakers. We will have a representative of the Ministry of Digital Transformation, a representative of private sectors from various industries, and also the French ambassador to Ukraine. The week after, on the 13th of October, we will have, in the frame of the reconstruction, a webinar on securing a French investment in Ukraine with Depuis France, and also a very practical case, the company Tech. And last point, in November, as we did in the past years, the French Chamber of Commerce will be also present during Rebuild Ukraine exhibition in Warsaw, and it will be on the 13th and the 14th of November. So keep it in your agenda. I think you have received email, and maybe you will receive other emails, but this is it. Without waiting anymore, Mikhailo, the floor is yours, and thank you very much, and I enjoyed the discussion.
Thank you for so deep and wide introduction and clear pipeline for our activities as a French community in Ukraine. It's a very honor for me to invite online and offline our guests and, of course, our specialists and our speakers. I would like to introduce Vadim Utkin. It's advisor to the CEO of the Tech Renewables, Energy Storage, and absolutely professional. Yes, please. Yeah, sorry. And I also would like to welcome Jérôme Beton-Desage, international technical expert for European reconstruction and integration, advisor to the Deputy Minister of Energy for European integration. Welcome our colleagues, and please sit down. As already mentioned, the energy topic, open speaker, I will be happy not to discuss so deeply energy topic with so wide audience, and maybe the energy in our life during the peaceful time, maybe not so focus of our daily life. And for us as civilians in Ukraine, it's not typical to really focus on this, because we all of us understand that today water, heating, light in our houses exactly really related to the energy and sustainable, consistent delivery of the energy. And question of energy generation, distribution, delivery, it's more and more hotter when the temperature outside of our building is colder and colder. And we really, by fact, we really need to focus on this, understand how we not just generate and distribute electricity, but also how we can organize a sustainable delivery of electricity to our homes from one perspective. And from other, it's a very important topic that energy is absolutely crucial for our business, because business generates thousands, even millions of jobs, and it's our resilience against our enemy. And working of economy and support business with energy today, it's absolutely basic rights. And in Schneider we say, sorry, that it's that energy, it's a basic human right, access to the energy. In our situation in Ukraine, where we see that for the last 2 years, Russia systematically tried to completely destroy our generation facility, and our colleagues from the tech really know this by heart, because most of the thermal power plants was destroyed. Also, delivery of electricity from the generation to the houses is also crucial topic. And the ways how we can organize the delivery of this electricity, before we know this, just generation and distribution or delivery. Now we add to this chain generation, storage, and delivery. And today we definitely will be discuss about this storage topic, which help us to deliver the electricity even if some damage is organized by our enemy. First my question to Jerome, to you, and you see from your perspective, especially when you travel between Europe and Ukraine, and you definitely see the damages which already taken by Russian attacks. What is the damages you see, crucial damages you see already? What is the area of investment in rebuild of these damages? And what is our short-term focus to organize the recovery of the energy system in Ukraine?
Thank you for your question. Hello to everybody. Well, perhaps before getting in this on this topic, I will just go a bit further. I'm working in the ministry, so I've been working only for 4 months now, so I don't know a lot. But at least I would like to remind the strategy of the minister and Ukrainians, resilience and green recovery. You talked a lot about resilience, but there's also behind green recovery. And 3 main priorities. So first, of course, is the resilience for the next coming season, heating issues which are coming up. And we already feel it very well in Kyiv today. It's getting cold. The second is integration in the EU market. And the third one is decentralization of generation and decarbonization also of generation. And as you said, electricity, energy assets have been targeted, and just 2 figures from the beginning, 65,000 damages have been recorded, and from 22, and from March 25 it's 3,500. So it's It's a lot. It costs a lot of money. The World Bank estimated about $20 billion, the losses. And despite this, the system is running. The system is running, and as you said, as it was said before, this is what we can call a very high resilience. And so for the next winter, the aim of the authorities and also the companies which are involved in the system is to secure 18 gigawatts of capacity. And for that, they've been working on, and 2.3 gigawatts have been restored out of 3.7 identified and planned. And also 1.8 gigawatts of distributed generation has been implemented in the country. So that will help to go through the winter. And also, I know that the authorities and the companies have been working a lot on physical protection of infrastructures. And regarding the quick investment, I think the Ukraine has three different tools to identify the needs. So there's first the emergency needs and all of them are online. So it's quite easy to reach them. And of course, it's difficult to say specific needs because all assets are targeted. So sometimes it's generation capacity, sometimes it's cables and things like this. So the ED online platform, which coordinates emergency assistance and it matches, in fact, the needs on the ground and the international support. You've got and it concerns equipment to keep the system running. So it's emergency, and it's around the needs today in terms of money is 4,000 million euros. Half of it is for electricity generation, quarter of it for transmission, and the other quarter is for distribution. The second is a catalog of investment. And this is ready to invest project, and this aim to enhance the stability and the reliability of the system. And finally, there's the investment atlas, and this provides each region as some medium-term vision. And there you can find like 1,150 projects, which are from the concept to the feasibility. And this is covering all the different sector, generation, grids, as well as efficiency and renewables. And so all this framework gives a quite clear view of what is needed to investors, to companies, and perhaps for investors to get them to support some projects.
Okay, thank you, Jerome. It's you say about the investment, and I would like to ask Vadim, because the tech definitely one of the first company in Ukraine who really start the energy storage many years ago, and I think it's already one of the most advanced company in this area for the years. And looking for the last media reports, Mr. Timchenko also shows that you continue to invest in this area. And what is your actual scope of already existing energy storage on the field, on the ground? What is the technology used, advanced or even most advanced, and what is your next steps in this scale of this energy storage on Ukrainian energy system?
That's, I think, three questions in one, right? Okay, first and foremost, it will be very impolite to start my turn, right, without saying many thanks to Schneider, actually, which helps us a lot during the first day of the war and when we experienced the most severe damages on October 2022. So thank you very much from personally myself, and from DTEC, that's the fantastic. You were so rapid in your response, right? Like immediately send us equipment. So thank you again very much. I forgot, what was the question?
Because you're expert in energy storage as a company, you particularly. About your past, about your actual, and the plan for the future related to the energy storage topic.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I spent the half of my life actually doing the energy storage. So before DTEC, I was working for the other company. I was a little bit on the other side of the trenches. We actually built energy storage system. It was a very interesting time, right? So but when I joined DTEC, we start building the very, very first grid-scale energy storage system. It was kind of, leap of faith, if you want, because at that point of time there was no regulation, no asset class like energy storage system were in Ukrainian grid, right? So and it was like, really, you want to build this one, but how you want to operate? And our idea was we should present and build it, and then the all regulation, laws, all the things will start building up, because you can build many PowerPoints, but unless you build the power plants, nothing will start moving in the right direction. That's what I'm thinking. Unfortunately, we lost this asset. This asset was built in Energodar, where the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is located, to whom doesn't know, right? So this city is occupied by Russians right now, but instead of that, we built another one, better one, right? And much bigger one. So we built 200 megawatt systems with the 2 hours capacity, which means 400 megawatt hours. But these are actually 6 different sites, in 6 different locations. And I will not tell you where they are, right? So,
definitely.
You probably know, because you supplied the equipment to our sites, right? So, so we built this project together with the company called Fluence. I'm not sure that this name is resonating, but let me put this way. So this is the one of the largest tier 1 supplier. Not from Asia, let me put in a very polite way, right? So, because we think that there is the one thing which many people overlooked. This is the cybersecurity and the, I would say, threats of the connection of such systems to the, let's say, critical infrastructure, okay? Did I respond to all your questions, or I missed something?
The future plans.
Oh, the future plans, yeah. Well, look, yes, the power grid is one of the most beautiful and complicated machines we ever actually built. And one of the problem with the power grid, or complexity, which we don't understand, right? So that's, people who's not in energy business, that there are many, I would say, angles how to look at the power grid. One of the angle, what we call adequacy in our professional domain, which means that we have enough generation to cover the demand. Basically, if our demand, let's say 20 gigawatts, right? So we have 20 plus something gigawatts of generation. But the other one, which is the super important, this is the flexibility. Basically, this means that your system generators can actually go along with demand, which is not flat, right? So we are not consuming the energy on straight line 24/7, right? And there is another dimension of complexity has been added to the grid, which is the renewables and the green recovery, what you call it, right? So renewables are great, but there is always flip side of the coin, which is we could not predict the generation of renewables. So we need this flexibility, and the batteries are probably the most efficient way how to add flexibility. Before Russians launched attack on DTEC coal-fired power plants, the coal-fired power plants were the most, I would say, the largest supplier of the flexibility to the grid. But honestly, even now, we're rebuilding them to as much as we can, right? So, but we all understand that the future, energy future of Ukraine will most likely be shaped around the nuclear and renewables. Nuclear is great, but this is the base load. Renewables, they need flexibility, and batteries are, again, I probably sound like a broken record, this is one of the best source of the flexibility for the grid.
And by the way, the nuclear energy also green now, yeah?
Depends who you're asking.
It's just coming.
At least it's decarbonized.
Decarbonization, from the decarbonization sustainability point of view, you're absolutely right. And thank you for this explanation about also the past, actual, and future, and how we use these new technologies like energy storage to balancing our energy system in Ukraine. And but we have also a lot of other challenges. We try to become the part of European Union. And I not touch political topic, but I think related to the energy sector, we're much more close to the European Union than from political perspective. What is your short-term plans as a ministry to more integrate our energy sector? Because it's really crucial. It's not just integration, but it's also support energy from Europe to Ukraine, and maybe in the future from Ukraine to Europe. And what is your, let's say, short-term plans? Because we not make plans for the next, I don't know how many, 2 years. I don't know, middle and long-term plans. It depends on the situation on the field. What is your plan as a ministry, as a state?
As ministry, so I think that the ministry, and especially in the field of energy, has been engaged on aligning themselves on EU acquis for a long period of time. As well as on the legislation and market standards. And this process, in this process, 3 objectives. The first one is advancing on the EU accession. The second is transposing the European directives and regulation. And the third one is and will be ensuring their effective implementation on the ground. So as a first point, significant, I would say, significant progress have been already made. From since 22, Ukraine's power system has been synchronized with the European network, and so that was a big step. It was not foreseen at the beginning, but it's still working from this time. Several directives have been implemented, have been transposed. I make the difference between transposed and implemented. Transposed is on the paper, and implemented is working. But it is for some of them it is already transposed and implemented to some extent, and especially in the energy efficiency. Where it's it helps the situation because renovation of buildings or insulation helps to consume less energy. And last July, I was here and I participated to this first big screening bilateral meeting between the Ministry of Energy and the Commission. The screening is a review of all the directives and regulation of in the chapter 15, which is related to energy, and chapter 21, which is related to the trans-European networks. And the aim was to say, well, what has been transposed, what is ongoing, and what has to be done. And this gives a good view of next steps to be fully aligned. And it's also opening the negotiation to the adhesion. So it's a big moment. And regarding perhaps the four step in the coming month. Well, when I say month, it's before the end of the year. Draft law on electricity market coupling has been approved, first reading at the Rada last July. And so it's the work is ongoing, and it concerns the transposition of 9 directives There's also then after a law on project of common interest. And this is the transposition of the TENI regulation, and this will allow Ukraine to participate in the trans-European energy network and to benefit also from receive support for a project of major importance for Europe. So you see that Ukraine is part of Europe after that. And no on renewable energy resources, so it's transposing the new directive RED 3 on this issue with the simplified permitting and support of also of mechanism in terms of to stimulate the investment. And the last one, which is very important for the member states and for Europe, is strengthening the independence of the energy regulator, NERC, as well as financial and political independence, and that's a big job to be done in the coming weeks. And so together, all this work, all these reforms are building the European integrated energy system for tomorrow, ready to attract investment, I hope, and also it will drive Ukraine's green recovery and recovery.
It's very good to hear that we have a clear roadmap how we will integrate, not just technically, but also energy market to be in line with European regulations. And I think it's a real big example also for our politicians, how can be also build up the roadmap to integrate Ukraine to the European Union, probably we will see. Before we will continue, I would like to ask our colleagues who are online, put your questions in our chat, and we will afterwards, we will look for these questions and try to answer this. We have discussed about the clear plan of global integration of energy, but the question of you as a business work on a field every day, and I would like to ask you related to the what is the challenges, questions, technological, economical, legislation to implement this crucial energy storage solution on the field in Ukraine, because you already started, you have experience, many years experience, and I think the problems, maybe which was 5 years ago, part of them still exist. What needs to be done, you as a business, to solve, to really extend this area in our energy resilience?
Can I put something on the screen?
Definitely.
And just, if I, okay, push the button, nothing happening. Okay, what's the, oh, okay. I actually prepared a couple of slides, but they are super boring, right? So just, and honestly, that's the only numbers, we can skip it. Yeah, of course, there is no energy conference without the, the crazy graph, which nobody understands, right? So, but let me get back straight to your question, right? Because that's the most important one. So speaking about the energy storage, okay, I have 3 good things and 3 bad things, right? So, because I think that the good things also is there, right? So I will start with the bad things, with the bad news, because the bad news should travel fast. So we can build much more, and the private companies, not only DTEC, can build much more and many more megawatts of the storage together with the French companies, right? If, first of all, this is the topic everybody knows, that's the balancing market depth. The batteries, per nature, they live on the what's so-called short-term power market. Basically, they stabilize the grid by providing the balancing energy. Because they are not like nuclear power plants, right? So they have the limited capacity, and this capacity is remunerated by if we have some deviations in frequency or in the power consumption, so the battery very quickly inject or absorb power. That's the very simplistic way to explain how the balancing market works. So unfortunately, this market segment in Ukraine, which is the most, I would say, most common segment for the flex energy storage in Europe, is poisoned by the huge pile of debt. The reasons for that we can discuss, we can have a separate discussion about that, you know that better than me, right? So, but this is what is actually holding back the energy storage build-out in Ukraine, okay? There are some other minor issues connecting to the balancing market. They are probably too technical. For example, that we don't have the real-time imbalance signals in the grid, but these are very technical. I would rather skip this, right? So just if you are really interested, I can deep dive on that, so and explain why it's important, but we can live even without that, right? So just solve the balancing market debt issue, and I'll be happy, right? But I would be more happy if we solve the another one issue, and this is connected what the topic you actually bring. This is the market coupling and the price cap on the market. So price caps, basically, this is the like floor and cap for the price of electricity. So I just put some numbers. This is the price cap for Ukraine. Recently, we a little bit relaxed price cap, but this is the, I would say, not the price caps where the, which are the available for the European market, right? So just to give you an example, right? So our price cap for the balancing energy is the 300 euro per megawatt hour. 4 or 5 days ago in Poland, the price of the balancing energy for a couple of hours were about 15,000 euro per megawatt hour. And you can say, okay, you know, Vadim, you want to increase the price of electricity? No. The balancing energy price is not connected to your bill which you receive every month, right? So this is the market signal to the balancing energy providers and the suppliers telling, okay, please run your gas power plant, please run your battery, do whatever you can, right? So to keep the light on, and the system will pay you. If we put the artificial cap on that, on such a low level, there is a very low commercial incentives for the private company to build the assets which are operating, let's say, 20% of the time, but they are so needed, okay? And the last, but not least, this is the project bankability. That's what we discuss over the coffee, right? So this is the how the banks and the lenders see the project and how they can actually finance. And there are two angles of that one. One, which you brought to discussion, this is the war insurance, right? So is it the right name? War insurance, right? War insurance, so we basically, yes, we build the assets, but how we can actually, okay, we cannot protect physically asset from the missile or drone, but can we protect the asset financially from being destroyed? And the other one is how the banks actually see the flexible asset financing, because banks wants to have the long-term, I would say, revenue projection on a very short-term power market. And these are very, very difficult to make, right? So just, this is the bad thing. Do you want me to talk about the good things? Or next time?
Probably, because when you say about the bad things, I think it's also how we can organize this bridge between the short-term your energy situation and the long-term expectation from the bank. Maybe it will be part of our next discussion with AI. Yes, how the artificial intelligence can help us to build up this bridge, but it will be next week discussion, I hope. Nevertheless, of course, we would like to some positive, because as example, today we already have, I don't know how many hours airstrike Sirena. We need some positive signals, definitely, please.
Yeah, I can give you some positive signals. First and foremost, our TCO, Ukrenergo, they are actually doing a very good job trying to integrate us with European power market, not only technical, because yes, indeed, from the March 2022, we have the same heart beating as the continental Europe, but this is only heart beating, right? So the blood is still not pumping back and forth with all power, if I may use this word, which could be, which it should be, right? So the latest news from the market, right? So it's a little bit, again, this is a little bit nerdy and a very, I would say, energy market specific. But just what I heard from the market operator, basically this is the trading platform which trades day ahead market prices. So they want to introduce the block orders. Block orders, basically, this is the, how to put this in a very simple way. You bid both buy and sell at the same time, right? So, and if one part is not being accepted by the market, the other part is not valid. This is very good for the battery energy storage operators, right? So this is the fantastic news, at least for me. The second is that there is the strong push from Ukrenergo to join what's so-called Picasso. And Picasso is not the, it's a Spanish painter, of course, right? So, but most and foremost for me, this is the integrated European platform for joint procurement of reserves. Reserves, basically, this is the one of the most important things which keeps our lights on, right? So that's what Ukrenergo is activating when in the time of scarcity, right? So, and the time of scarcity for us every minute, honestly, right? So if and when we will join Picasso, we will be able to procure and sell reserves, I mean the power reserves, not only in Ukraine, but also to our neighboring country, which will increase the resilience of Ukrainian power grid. That's fantastic. So let's wish them a luck, right? So on Picasso. Okay, the last one is again very, very, I would say, tricky. This is the what's so called introducing the redispatching mechanism. Okay, in simple words. As for now, Ukrenergo see the whole energy system is the copper, as what we call it copper plate. Basically, if something happening in Kharkiv, the same is happening in Lviv. This is not true anymore, right? So we know that there is a huge damage on the transmission line, substations, Russians attack just recently, I think yesterday, right? So they attacked one of the largest 330 kV substation, right? So this is the very good time to understand that there is no copper plate anymore in Ukraine, and actually there is no copper plate in Europe. There is no war in Europe, right? So, but there is a system congestions and so on. So it will allow, again, it will allow to actually build the batteries in the most critical nodes, right? So, for example, if Kharkiv in troubles, right? So if we put the flex asset like the gas turbine or the batteries over there, it should help more than if we will put in Lviv area. Sorry for being too technical, but look, you know where are you coming, right? So this is the energy, this is the energy conference.
And energy storage, yeah. Definitely. And the experience of balancing of the system and balancing of our common system, electrical system, it's a crucial topic for us because we are continuously, as Vadim say, damage the system, both distribution and generation. And we in Ukraine use this battery capacity to just try to balance, not because we have some problematic in some renewables, and we will come into this later, but it's a simply damaged, and we need to balance this system, because without the balancing, the whole electrical system will be just disappear, and it will be like, maybe you remember around 2 months ago in Spain or in Portugal. It was
yeah.
Spain.
That's the Iberia incident, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And this is exactly the topic. Not looking for the Picasso, but okay, Picasso not from Iberia. And this is a topic which really crucial for us to really survive during the winter, But a lot of experience, especially for balancing of the system, we have in Europe, because Europe start to invest in renewables, in wind, solar, many decades ago, and to efficiently use this sustainable source of electricity, the balancing system with the energy storage was in Europe for also probably a lot of the years. What is your expertise? What is the best practice which, based on your knowledge, we can more and more use in Ukraine? Definitely for the different purposes, not because we have a lot of green energy, just to help us to survive during the attack from our enemy.
I think that in the mind, everything is aligned with Europe here in Ukraine. I've been reading recently the Smart Grid 2035 roadmap, which has been validated last year, 24, by the ministry. And I mean, I read it from the beginning to the end, and everything is here on the paper. There's a roadmap there. The problem is to have enough time and enough human engineering left after repairing and to go forward and to have a system which is stable to go forward. But this roadmap really is really giving good orientation of what balancing is and the place of the storage in it, and also it gives also a vision of what Ukraine wants to do. It's not only a question of, and it was said, I don't know who said it before, but it's not only to rebuild, but to rebuild back smarter and to build smarter, in fact. And so for the moment, for the time being, it's only keeping the system running. And even doing that, there are innovation. You're talking about storage building, implementation. And I know that there are some innovation and partnership that are very important at the time being, which are being several pilot projects which are being implemented at the time being, and some of them are supported by France, so it's good to say also. And I think that is also a success of all the people. I'm in the embassy, the CCFEU, and Business France, which is actively engaged in all this process. And so I would just say give some example. There's in Elmenitsky region. Yeah. So they've been working with the EDF International on a design of distribution system operator management master plan. And they are also implementing digitalization of the substation. So that's part of what has to be done. There's also in Ternopil, there's implementation of microgrids with Givernova. So other projects which are not financed by, supported by funds, but which are going in the good way. In Mykolaiv, there's the implementation of modernization of the grid to expand to renewable and also storage connection. So, and that's with the support of international energy cluster. So it's more local enterprises and Lithuanian and Polish. And there's also in different part of the country development of a substation fleet, mobile fleet to recover when assets are broken. And so I think this is very important because it shows that it works. It gives sorry, I thought you were asking a question. And I would say one last thing on this issue is, I think planning is important. Also, the plan have been done, but I think it's permanent processes. And planning is how to keep ourselves in touch with innovation and to be in touch with a partnership with companies which are innovating. And this continuous process is a good, is a structured approach to share the vision of the network. At the same, I mean, transmission and also on local level distribution. And I think that, like in France, Ukraine is introducing market instrument, even though there are some issues. PPAs are showing up, green auction also, guarantees of origin also. And I think that in short, and I will end with this, France model shows that combining at the same time smart grids, distributed generation, and clear market signals, that's create a resilient, low carbon and energy system. And I think that is exactly the same path that Ukraine is now pursuing.
Thank you very much. I also would like to add for our audience, offline and online, that France as a country support us a lot with hundreds of millions of euro to support our resilience in the different sectors. It's and particularly in energy sector, they bring and spend and donate the money to support our digital transformation of our energy sector. And this automatically help us to be more resilient and more flexible in front of attacks, and with a big support of Pierre Hilbron particularly, and with our embassy and our ambassador of France in Ukraine. It's a big help us every day to really be prepared for the winter. And this is, and the best practices, digital technologies, energy storage, digital grid, distributed generation. It's really help us as Ukraine to really survive today. And thank you for this also to the whole of France. And we have some questions online, maybe offline questions, colleagues. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's start with the online questions. It's we already received it. It's the first question. What ways and methods can be used to reduce the cost of energy for production? We are interested in cogeneration plant running on wood waste.
I have no idea, honestly.
Okay, it's a question, yeah. Okay, but it's. I think it's. I just would like to add that it's part of distributed generation and cogeneration plant. It's one of the way how which work based on the wood or any other sources of natural resources, and it's also support our resilience. Maybe you have a topic?
I would just say a word on the energy, because we've been, of course, talking about electricity because it's storage of electricity. But if we look at in France, for example, well, most of the needs are heating. And I think that it's not very fancy, heating system. When I see, because in the directives it's very important, in the European directive, it's 40% of our needs of energy heating. So it's good also, and because it's talking about wood, to have a good mix that is not only focusing only on electricity, but also on heating, on heat, which might come from wood, but also can come from the earth, geothermy. Geothermy, yeah.
Okay. Next question. Are there any EU practices in energy storage that could be quickly adopted in Ukraine? I think we already touched this topic. Which energy storage?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Actually, the one of the most important, if I may take it, this one, right? So I think we'll be there not this year, probably not next year, but I hope in 12, 18 months. So we have the market price for the electricity, I mean the wholesale market price, not, again, what I'm saying is related only to the market, not to your final bill, right? So because some people, you know, they could not distinguish the, let's say, the price of the electricity on the wholesale market, like day ahead or intraday market, with the price what they have every month in their, I know, email inbox or something. So we have the market price clearing period right now is 60 minutes, 1 hour. So basically we have 24 different prices per day. And electricity is the very tricky beast, right? So we all think about the electricity as the commodity, right? Well, it's just the electrons flowing. But power per se is the very different product every day, every hour, every month, and every year, right? So remember 2022, and I'm referring to our French colleagues, right? So how much the cost of electricity was in France. That was the jump up to the 15,000 euro per megawatt hours for some hours, right? So just because of the shortage of the gas. You guys lucky because you have a lot of nuclear generation. That's thanks to EDF or Framatome, or used to be called Framatome. So the European regulation right now, all European market are actually going in direction to create 15 minutes clearing time. So we will have, hopefully in Ukraine, 4 more times clearing period than 60 minutes. So you may ask, so what, right? So what does the difference it makes, right? It will make a lot of difference for the renewables, and it will boost the build of renewables, because the renewables, they have one problem with the predictability, right? So just an every deviation from their position, nominated position, costs them a lot, right? Through the imbalancing mechanism. So if they can adjust their position every 15 minutes, as well as the batteries, that will help us a lot. All our neighbors in continental Europe, or in SOE, what's so called, where we are joining, or joined already, so they moved to the 15 minutes period. Poland finished this transition, I think, July this year, finally. So, and it was, I think, the last country moved to the 16 minutes period. So I do hope that we will make this step forward in 12, 18 months, and that it will help us a lot to recognize the fact that the time of the super large generators is actually over, right? So we are moving to the most distributed generators. Okay, makes sense?
Absolutely, and I heard that even now it will permit to build up the new renewables, solar or wind will be issued if you have also the energy storage combined.
Oh, that's another one. Okay, if I may, right? So just
Please.
Here is the one problem, right? So when you want to connect the battery to the grid or anything, right? So let's say you want to build the what's so-called wood something.
West, yes.
Yeah.
Cogeneration plant. Yes.
Cogeneration plant, right? So technically what you need to go to the Ukrenergo, our TCO, and do what we call grid impact study. Grid impact study means that somebody in TCO, they will research how your generator will impact the grid in this particular node, right? And whether or not they can issue the grid condition agreement or grid conditions, grid connection conditions to you, okay? That's fine. That's how everyone is working, right? So, except one thing, right? So unfortunately, in Ukraine, and not only in Ukraine, and in some European countries, not all of them, right? So batteries are treated as generators. So it means that the Ukrenergo, for example, if you come to Ukrenergo and say, okay, look, I have the beautiful 500 megawatt battery, I want to connect, right? So they said, okay, that's the 500 megawatt generator, and it will overload our network or grid, right? So we will not allow you to connect. Or you need to do the very expensive reinforcement of the whole area. This is not true, because they cannot, so far, they cannot, I would say, not to understand, but let's say, accept the idea that the batteries are working every time in opposite to the market. What do I mean? If the market is long, for example, we have overgeneration, batteries are consuming, right? If the market is short, there is no generation, right? So short of power. Batteries are discharging, basically injecting the power, which actually means that the batteries are working in an opposite direction. And this, I know many projects in Ukraine which did not receive the grid connection conditions only because of that. So if we can politely ask our TCO to be more flexible, as my beautiful batteries are, right? So in that sense, and adopt the European regulation on this one, there is some standards and so on, you will make me even more happy than I am now.
Well, so we'll be happy because our resilience and stability of our network will be better, and it's come back to the question, what is the barriers currently we have to fully implement this distributed energy storage. To wrap up the session, I would like to ask you, because we are part of business association, French business association, and most of the businesses would like to really understand how we will go through the winter, which is coming. And I would like to ask you, as a professionals, what your 3 advice you can share with us to prepare our businesses in front of the winter. May I start with you, Vadim?
That was kick in the stomach. Look, it does not matter what I will say, right? So it's not depend on us, of course. Unfortunately, it depends on our enemies. So, and I can say that, okay, build if you can afford, right? So if your business can afford, so just put a battery behind the meter, right? So connected to your solar power plant, which is probably will not be working during the winter, right? So, but at least you can give your little bit, couple of hours of the energy independence until we'll fix everything, right? So just honestly, I don't know how to be prepared for the winter, right? So, and I'm speaking not from DTech, of course, I'm speaking from myself. I have batteries in my home, honestly. So just, and that's enough for me to survive, let's say, 3-4 hours without the power. And yeah, so no practical advice. Just again, if you can build some distributed generation at your factories, production facilities, do this. The cost of the solar panels and batteries right now is super, super low. We have not seen the lowest. Okay, this year was the lowest prices on the batteries I ever seen in my life, and this trend is going down, down, and down.
And it will continue definitely too.
That's another kick in the stomach, right? So that will depend on many, many things, right? So most people think, okay, that's depend on the prices of the lithium carbonate, right? So which is the major component for of the cost, which is not true, because honestly, lithium is less than 10% of the cost of the battery per se. Let me put this way: nobody knows what will be the future trajectory of the batteries prices, but assuming and knowing how many gigawatt hours factories are built in China, and Europe is trying to catch up with this one, building some kind of manufacturing facility in Europe, with some success and some failures. I mean, Northvolt, for example. So I would assume that the prices at least will be at the same level of 2025. Whether or not it will come down, I have no idea. So
it means now it's a good momentum to really invest
in
this area, even by the private business.
That's what we did, right? So we just built 200 megawatts of
Yeah,
the
but
battery.
you're a huge energy company, but our businesses, I think, also can use this to protect themselves, because it's really, cannot predict what will be happen.
Yeah, but you supply the batteries, right? So you have this product in your
No,
portfolio.
I'm not
so-
promoting our battery.
No, I'm not promoting you, right? So just you can actually make some guesses on demand on this and how many requests you got from the customers to have this. Nobody knows how many solar panels are built, already been built behind the meter, because the Ukrenergo, for example, they may only guess, right? So this is the, like, you build rooftop solar, like, I don't know, Epicenter or Novus, right? So there are some assumptions saying that it's about more than 1 gigawatt of the rooftop solar already been built. That's a huge. 1 gigawatt is the one nuclear block, right? So I think the batteries will be pretty much the same. So assuming that the battery is normally 20% of the solar, so we expect that this around 200 megawatts will be built behind the meter to increase the resilience of the production manufacturing.
Thank you, Vadim, for so deep technical, but also business perspective from you. May I ask you for the same question? Your 3 advice. You're already 4 months here. Maybe you feel.
I don't have. Yeah, I hear everybody. I hear everybody talking about battery at the time being. In the road at work, and do we have batteries? And so that's, I think, getting prepared in case. So that's what it could be one advice. But I think we are part of the system. We are users of the system. So I would say, let's be first proud of all these workers that have been working to restore the system for the past years. I've not been here, but. I was concerned from the beginning of 22 of what happened here in Ukraine. And I know that resilience, it's also a question of people that are working and that are outside when it's cold, and things like this, which is, so be proud of these people and their work. And last point is, let's be resilient too, if I may say.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And I also would like to end with positive, that I'm sure that most of the businesses in Ukraine with whom we are working, they already organize some backup plan for some gas generator or diesel generators, rooftop solar panels, or even some wind generator, energy storage, small one, not 200 megawatts like at the tech, maybe 100 kilowatts, but it's enough to survive 10, 20, 24 hours until our suppliers, like EDTech, will restore the grid, restore generation, and we have a chance to continue our production as businesses or organize a good feeling of our families at our homes. Thank you one more time for your coming, for your very deep expertise and a lot of positive, not just how the challenges, but I think the challenges give us stronger. Thank you for you. The best for the EDTech, because we really depend on you.
Not only on us, there are others. Energatom, Ukrohydro, so there are many other players.
When they're coming,
yeah,
we'll
do our best.
Also, yes.
Okay.
And thank you for European support and your technical advice. And I think we are really on the age of technology related to the modern digital energy, digital grid in Ukraine, not because we would like to be so advanced. The war around us, and we use the most advanced solution to really survive. Thank you one more time, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chasing sunsets in the sky, won't let these moments pass us by. Take my hand, don't be afraid. In the brighter days Night and days are on their way. Forever's how long they'll stay. Bright and days are on their